Hey everybody, this is Chris Thompson, and welcome to session number 19 of Brain Software with Dr. Mike Mandel. He loves strongbow cider, practical jokes, and practices the ancient art of Qigong every day. Welcome back, Mike.
Thank you, Chris. Great to be here, broadcasting as always from Ground Zero, the very epicenter of hypnosis worldwide, Toronto, Canada, the most cosmopolitan, tolerant, and awesome city on the planet. And I can say that because I was born in England and I wasn't born here, so I'm completely unbiased.
I think that sounded a lot like a never-ending sentence, just as in Ericksonian hypnosis.
And for other reasons, still talking, we've had an amazing lunch, haven't we?
Yes, we did. We had an awesome lunch at the pub near the University of Toronto, where the next class is being held, September 24th to 28th. The Architecture of Hypnosis, 5 days of wonderful hypnotic experiences with Dr. Mike Mandel.
And it was amazing. We checked out the room again. We're working out the seating and the coffee and all the stuff. We have a phenomenal room to train in. It just drips with academia and old wood and paintings. It's going to be just amazing because university is in session when we're there, so you'll be mingling with the regular university students. We're hoping you come to Toronto and study with me. The Architecture of Hypnosis is the most complete hypnosis course I've ever come up with. We have all but 4 seats are already sold out. So in other words, we have 4 seats left.
That's a very...
Switching to English. All but 4 seats are almost invariably nearly sold out. What am I talking about?
And I wonder what would happen if we didn't know how many people weren't going to not be coming.
All right, don't start that.
Okay, so we have 4 spots remaining. MikeMandelHypnosis.com/class if you're interested in owning one of those 4 spots. So, what do you want to talk about today?
Well, it's up to you, Chris. I noticed you said about practical jokes, and you brought to mind immediately our journey here from downtown.
Yes, you jokester, you.
I have heated seats in my car, and I make, as many of you do, but I just make a point of switching them on for the passenger without his knowledge, especially in the midst of summer heat, and then just asking, are you sure you want that heated seat on when they're sweating and roasting? But I have refined it to an art of turning it on without the other person seeing, and I'm really, really pleased with this.
Yeah, you've done this to me a few times, and I know you've done this to Pep many times, and probably everybody else who takes a position here. So... It is September. It is early September here in Toronto. It is a high of 26 degrees Celsius, which is a beautiful summer day. And here I am in the passenger seat of Mike's car. We're driving.
Dripping with sweat.
And all of a sudden, I just noticed this incredible warmth in my lower back, but it hasn't approached my conscious awareness yet. I guess unconsciously I know it's there. And what did you say to me? You said something like...
Are you really sure you want that heated seat on? But it wasn't that. It was the 2 more times I got you without you seeing.
Oh, yeah. The first time was just hilarious because then I knew the joke was on, right? So, of course, what happens next is now I have to be very attentive to what is Mike doing. You know, is he putting his hand near that button?
Which is on your side of the car.
Which is on my side. Like, literally, the heated seat it's not at the side of the seat. It's in the dashboard on my side of the car. And you have to press the button 3 times to get it all the way on. Once to get it all the way on, and then 2 more times to turn it off or whatever. So your job is easy if you can get your hand over there without me noticing and turn it on.
Correct.
Now, here's what I observed. After Mike catches me, like, not noticing 3 times he gets this thing on in the space of not even 5 minutes, right? I noticed that Mike, we're listening to some music, and he's telling me all about this wonderful classical music that's playing.
It was Modest Mussorgsky's Pictures and Exhibition, the Ravel version, but not done by the orchestration, the full orchestration, done by Tangerine Dream, I think.
Yeah, so I'm just, slightly paying attention because I have no idea what you're even talking about because I'm not the biggest of classical music fans. I love the music, I should say. I just don't know much about it.
Digression.
Anyway, so... I'm listening to you, and I'm noticing, why does he keep reaching over to the stereo and, turning the knob up and down and back and forth?
Micro adjustments.
Small little adjustments in the volume that just have no point. And that's when I realized, he's desensitizing me to the fact that he's always putting his hand over near the stereo.
Yes.
And if he just reaches over, a foot from there, which is in my peripheral vision, I wouldn't notice the difference. And boom, all of a sudden he's got my heated seat on, and I didn't know it.
But you caught me. And you caught me doing it. And what was funny about it was you said, what you're doing is desensitizing me by fiddling with the volume knob, aren't you? And I said, yes. And we had a good laugh about it. And as I explained, I said, what I was doing was this. I hit the switch and turned it on again.
Yes,
and you didn't notice.
I had just turned it off, and you turned it on probably within 3 seconds of me turning it off, and I did not notice.
It's on now.
You've become an expert at hitting the switch the exact moment my eyes move away from foveal vision on that switch.
That's right, Chris, and good use of foveal vision. So let's go to our podcast material. What we got for today? We got questions, and thank you for sending your questions in to questions@MikeMandelHypnosis.com. We get so many that we now have to sort through them and determine which will be of general interest. So what do we got?
All right, well, do you want to start right with the questions, or do you want to go to some of the marketing?
Anything you want.
Yeah, okay, so I have some, before we get to the questions, which are good ones, I wanted to prepare or bring forward some real-world information that, I don't know if you want to call this hypnosis or not, but...
Oh, the marketing thing you were telling me they got you with.
Here in my hands, I'm holding a piece of paper that was nicely folded and put in a little Ziploc bag with a little bottle to hold a sample of water from my tap. And it says, Water Analysis Data Form. This is a proposal for complimentary water analysis in your home. And now, this is the funny story. As soon as I got this, I recognized exactly what the tactic was, which we'll get to in a second.
Okay.
Right? And I put it aside. I wasn't going to fill out the form because I knew this was a sales technique, and I'm not interested in buying a water filter. I already have a perfectly good Berkey water filter, which
well done.
Mike recommended to me, and Ryan, my friend Ryan. So I put this at the side, thinking I'll use this for podcast material. We're going to talk about this on our next podcast about influence techniques. And my wife threw it away on me. Now, I had put it somewhere where she should have known that I was going to bring it down to my office and hold on to it, but she's very tidy and she threw it away. So when I asked her where it was, she told me it was in the garbage. I pulled it out of the garbage and things got even better because she had actually started filling out the form, which made it much, much more of an interesting story. So let's talk about why this... And we're going to now tell you
why
exactly
it's effective, what they're doing.
Why this is such an effective compliance technique to get me to buy a water filter from this company. And I didn't go through their whole process, but we know how this works, right, Mike?
Well, the first thing I'm seeing right away, Chris, is reciprocity. They're giving you something for nothing that you have not requested. Consequently, your desire to do something for them is triggered automatically. And this is deep within the psyche of the average person.
Right.
Dr. Cialdini talks about, if you hand a can of Coke to someone who hasn't requested it, and they will then, carry your luggage onto a plane for you or something, they'll do things far out of proportion to the thing you offer.
Right. And so this was a water sample bottle left in a little baggie with this form that I'm holding saying, here, just leave this, and we'll pick it up between 8 a.m. and 10 a.m. And it's completely free water test.
Now, does it use the word just? Because that's another one, of course.
No, I don't think it does. But it essentially is a very clear... scientific-looking documentation saying we're going to test your water for you. But there's a survey underneath it. So the very first thing they ask you to actually do is fill out this survey. Please answer the following questions.
So now you're getting compliance kicking in.
Exactly. So for a complete analysis and recommendations. So they're getting you to do something, get the water, but also answer these questions. So reciprocity, compliance.
And every question you're answering now is building the compliance set towards just obedience.
Which is in Cialdini's book, a commitment and consistency principle, right? So it is. So I'll give you an example of some of the questions. Please check any conditions you experience: chlorine smell, brown stains, salty taste, rotten smell, cloudiness, scale deposits, blue-green stains, other stains. I mean, it goes on and on. There's obviously
you're going to find something in city tap water.
You're going to find multiple check marks that you're going to be checking off, saying these are all the things wrong with my water. Right? Now, all of these questions, which I won't read through entirely, essentially get you to say in writing that you don't like the quality of your water.
You've made a public commitment to it, and based on the consistency principle now, because it's in writing, you've committed your name to this, especially since I see on the form there's a place for your signature. You sign your name to this. Now they're going to hold you to the fact that, but you've said that your water's faulty. You've told us that. You've signed your name to it.
Exactly. So I would bet any money when you get the results, they are going to call you up, and your signature authorized them to call you by telephone, and they're going to offer to come to your home and present the results for you to let you know what you can do to improve the quality of your water, which you've said you care about by filling all this out. And then they're going to offer you a water filter, which is the solution to all your problems.
And everything wrong with your life is going to be fixed. Now, the interesting thing about this, yes, it's a number of wonderfully powerful techniques that are layered on that the average person would have no idea whatsoever. So what we're seeing here is you're starting with the the water itself, you're going to let them check the sample of your water. They're leaving the little bottle with you, whatever. Now, by doing that, reciprocity is kicking in, so you want to reciprocate and do something for them in return. You fill in the forms, so there's a compliance element. You begin doing what they say without question. You're signing your name to all of this, saying there's something wrong with your water, so the consistency principle is there. So when they pounce on you later and say, well, we found all these problems with your water, there's high, antimony or arsenic or something in it, and you've already said your water smells bad or leaves green stains in your taps or sink or whatever, how could you possibly give that to your family when you know that this is bad water and the person is going to feel a tremendous pull because of psychological principles, which are nothing whatever to do with water?
Exactly. So I thought that was a brilliant marketing tactic that is, highly effective, and we thought we'd talk about it on the podcast. So hopefully you guys out there listening got something out of that. If you encounter anything interesting from the marketing perspective where you see stuff like this happening in your own neighborhood or door-to-door salesmen coming to you and saying something not quite the ordinary pitch, let us know, because we'll break these down.
Deconstruct it for you. We remember the best one was a couple of podcasts ago, the bank that said, borrow to get ahead so you don't fall behind. Well, Isn't borrowing going further in debt, and isn't that falling further behind? I mean, it is quite incredible.
Right, but we won't mention which bank that
was. No, we
won't. No. Hey, Mike, when we were on our way back to your car this morning after lunch, you noticed that homeless guy that was looking for change.
Yep.
He probably never read Cialdini's book, yet he seemed to be pretty...
he knew about influence, though, didn't he?
He clearly understood influence. And it's funny that, anyone whose job is essentially to get money from strangers, they're often very good at these techniques, even if they've never studied them academically or anything like that.
Right.
They've
learned got a gut sense, a street sense on how to make these things work. Remember, I gave him all the change out of my pocket, which is, I don't know, $2 or something.
Yeah, you reached into your pocket first to go give him some change, because you usually do. And then I went and through social proof, which is Cialdini's rule of social proof, I thought, well, let me see if I have any change in my pocket. And I didn't have any in my pocket, but what did he do then?
Well, he followed you.
Yeah, but he followed me in sort of a funny way, right? He was very pleasant about it.
Yeah, he wasn't armed.
Because he noticed that I didn't actually finish by pulling any change out of my pocket. I left my hand in my pocket because I went, geez, I don't have any coins for him, so, I'll just pretend like I never reached into my pocket.
But he was funny, though. Remember, he said something like, don't worry, I won't hold you up. And hold you up is so wonderfully ambiguous. What does he mean? Delay us because we're walking away? Does he mean pull a gun and rob you? Yeah.
Yeah, so he said, with a very smiley face, he said, he followed me along, said, don't worry, I won't hold you up, because he knew we were walking somewhere, and he started just following behind for a moment, saying, don't worry, I won't hold you up, I won't hold you up.
So he kept the persistence going as well, which is another thing.
Yeah, so he had the likability factor going for him on the Cialdini principles again, and he had the social proof was just something that I unconsciously noticed, that, well, you went to go give him money, so I should too. And anyway, I didn't have any coins for him, but it was pretty funny that we just noticed, here's a homeless guy who has figured out how to use principles of persuasion.